will affect you. Chicago's talk leader, 89 WLS.
5:34, Awake with Jake. On this NATO Summit 2012 Chicago, everyone's got a beef special. Jim Johnson will be joining us in a little bit with news at the top and the bottom of the hour. We're going to give you traffic. We'll go over at the top of the hour some of the closures. If you're real shortly, though, if you're driving downtown and you're used to parking on the street for free on the weekend or paying in the box, forget it. No parking all over the place. So you're going to have to go into a parking structure, and usually those things run $25, $30. You may want to look for some specials. Unless the parking people figure, hey, why have specials? People have to park here. Anyway, keep it tuned to 89 WLS all weekend. We're going to have traffic and weather traffic and news all weekend for you. And you'll get weather too, as a bonus. I was watching something on TV the other day about ethanol for gas. It was a news story, and ethanol is in 10% in most gas stations. There are some gas stations that still do pure gas, but ethanol is in most gas stations. It's a 10% mixture. And the story said, and I don't know how true this is because it was a news report, they claim by having ethanol in a 10% mixture in the gas, in a gallon of gas, it saves you a little over $1 a gallon. And what they want to do, they want to bump it up to 15%. And they said if they can bump it up to 15%, they would save up to $2 a gallon. So I know what you're thinking, hey, that sounds great. But the problem is, there's a lot of problems, always problems. Nothing is ever simple. The problem is ethanol comes from corn. The more you use it for gasoline, the less corn there is for corn to be used for other things, like feeding livestock. And if it becomes more expensive because there's a demand for it, then the price of, say, pigs rises and your bacon becomes more expensive. That's a whole other side issue. But the part that caught my attention is that they said the American car manufacturers and the foreign car manufacturers in general, are against going to an 85% gas, 15% ethanol ratio because the engines in the cars today aren't designed for that. It says you're going to have more damaged engines. So you're going to save some money at the gas pump, but then you're going to do a $1,000 engine repair or more. Yeah. Job creation for the mechanics. We're here from the government. We're here to help you. That's what it's all about. Thinking these things through. So you got that going for you. 15%. I don't know. And then you've got in California, the governor of California, I think it's the year 2020, 25, something like that. Every public building has to be self-sufficient for power, either solar or wind, which is creating a real havoc out in California right now. People don't know what they're going to do. And I love wind power. I think the problem what the government did, rather than spend money investing in the technology, research and all that and the technology, they started betting on individual companies. And then when China started subsidizing the Chinese companies, the American companies couldn't compete. The price wasn't on the prices, and boom, the American companies went out of business. So, okay, for every good action, there's a couple bad reactions. Donald in Flossmoor. Donald, you're on 89 WLS.
Hello. I just wanted to voice my disappointment with the Chicago Cub owners for trying to play the race card in the election. I think it's a disgrace what they did.
What did they do?
Well, they was going to try to run that political ad, the Reverend Wright ad, which is totally playing the race card because they're trying to depict Obama.
Did you see it? Did you see the ad?
Yes, I saw I saw a preview of the ad on TV.
I didn't see an ad. I didn't know there was an ad.
Well, they was going to run the thing that McCain didn't refuse to do, but they was going to run something very similar to that.
Well, that was why I believe what actually happened was there were a lot of different suggestions on different things they could be, how they would spend money on campaign ads from this one super PAC, and that was one suggestion, but nobody ever said, hey, go ahead and produce it.
But the Cub owners was going to finance it.
No, the father is a contributor to the one super PAC, but there never was a real ad. That was like you sit around and say, give me 100 ideas of things we can do. That was one of those spitball ideas, but nobody ever said, go ahead and produce an ad.
Well, okay, but the fact is, I think they threw it out as a trial balloon, and they would have done it if there wasn't so much protesting about it. I think, which is obviously would have been, you know what? I support anybody they want. I don't care.
Yeah, but you know what, Donald?
When they're trying to play the race card, I think they're really going.
Yeah, and what happened to the contributor to Romney? One of the super PACs that supports Romney. The guy had a business, and he got labeled as a gay bigot a week ago, because he's a contributor.
A gay bigot?
Yeah.
Labeled by whom?
By people on the left, the blogs. This guy's business suffered. Because here's how it works, Donald. It isn't what you say anymore. It's kind of like if you want to cut the budget, you become the person who wants to starve kids. You know how they run they go from point A right to Z and miss everything in between. So, like, for example, 2 weeks ago today, if you were against gay marriage, if your idea of marriage was a man and a woman, you were okay with that, okay?
Okay.
Once the president decided, you know what? It doesn't have to be just a man and a woman anymore. It could be a man and a man, a woman and a woman. Now, if you come out and say, I believe marriage should be a man and a woman, they call you a bigot, and you're anti-gay. Is that right?
No.
But that's what they do, and that's what they did to the guy in Idaho.
They called him a bigot.
Yeah. It was all over the blogs.
Okay. Well, that's definitely wrong about that. I can see that. I can see where you're saying that's not right.
And I'm saying in this thing with Ricketts, and you know what? I'm no lover of supporting tax money for Wrigley, but I mean, people have just like jumped on before finding out what was actually going on. I mean, it's crazy. Things are crazy nowadays.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong about them, but it really upset me to let that they're going to play the race card, trying to attack. With that, I was just.
But wait. Since you brought up Reverend Wright, let me ask you this: Have you seen any? There's a new book out called The Amateur.
I heard about that new book and things he said.
There's 3 hours. There's a 3-hour interview with the Reverend Wright on tape.
Okay.
Where the Reverend Wright makes an accusation that he was offered money to keep his mouth shut during the election.
Well, I don't know. That's probably just talk, But anyway, I assume somebody might have asked him to keep. He might have been offered money to keep his mouth shut, and he should have kept his mouth shut because everything he was saying was kind of ridiculous at that time.
Yeah.
And the Fox people was taking his they took most of his sermons out of context. I mean, when he said that thing about GD America, they took that out of context.
They're coming to get you, Donald. They're coming to get you. They're coming to get you. I don't even know who's coming to get him right now. I have no idea. Russ and Berwyn. Russ, you're on 89 WLS.
Hey, Jake, how you doing? Long time no talk.
What's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to give you some information when you brought up the corn issue with the ethanol. I wanted to tell you a story I had back in the 70s. I went to NIU in DeKalb, and DeKalb agriculture was a big kingpin out there. And they put out a study in the 70s I think it came out in 72. And as of 1971, the nutritive value of the food grown for Del Monte Corporation, that got a lot of their canned vegetables and fruits and stuff from northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin, had from 59 or 60 gone down like 13 to 15%. And I'm thinking, how could ethanol improve so well with corn if the value of the corn is down? How can using the corn improve gas more? Isn't that a conundrum, a juxtaposition?
That's a three-syllable word. That's what that is.
Yeah. Well, I was just curious, but then I heard Donald speaking, and that just rubbed me the wrong way. I've heard him before, and, you know, I got to tell you, I have to admit a sin. I made 2 mistakes in my voting life. I backlashed against Nixon and Ford and voted for Carter because of the, letting Nixon off the hook and letting him go. And I paid for that one. And now I believed in this hope and change, and I didn't understand what was going on with this guy. And I thought he was really going to put this racial issue in the can, and let's bury it. And his first opportunity out of the box, what does he say? The police are stupid in Massachusetts. And ever since then, it's just the card that they play over and over and over again. Unfortunately, Jake, I believe that, the free independent voters that are out there, they're going to get sucked in again by this guy.
Well, we're going to see what happens. Thank you, Russ.
All right, bye, Jake.
Jim in Mundelein. Jim, you're on 89 WLS.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I would just like to comment on the propaganda they were putting out about the corn, and the fact that the corn, the animals cannot digest all the starch in the corn that's there, especially cows and pigs and chickens. And as a result, a lot of it's wasted. So by taking the corn and making alcohol out of it, and then what you have left over, you feed to these animals, and it turns out to be a wonderful food for them.
Well, apparently not enough and not cheap enough because they're not producing as many hogs anymore. The pig production is down.
Well, I think that's another factor there as far as the way the animals are raised and the waste material and everything else like that you got to get rid of. I think there's a big problem there, which is a different thing. Why the pigs are down.
Oh, I know bacon's expensive because you have fewer pigs.
But the thing is, as far as the feed goes, the feed is actually a better food when you take the starch out of it, as far as the animal is concerned. And we're not being told the truth on that.
You know what? I don't even know what the truth is anymore, Jim. I don't know what the truth is. 547, Awake with Jake. It's a NATO Summit weekend right here on 89 WLS.
89 WLS.
Hey, it's freezing back here. Ugh.
Yeah, close the window.
Yeah, no.
Why?
Sorry.
Oh, girl, what you need is Digestive Advantage Gas Defense.
It's a supplement.
Digestive Advantage from Schiff. Its dual-action formula acts quickly to stop gas before it starts when taken with a meal.
I take it every day.
It's good for you.
And with continued use, the healthy probiotic gives you long-term digestive support.
Road trip, and we won't need a convertible.
Works now and later. That's the Digestive Advantage.
So glad we left that stupid party.
No joke.
Hey, baby, are you an overdue library book? Because you got fine written all over you.
Oh, barf. What about that girl with the hoop earrings?
Ridiculous. When she was dancing...
Megan, look out. Look out.
Oh, my God, Becky. Becky, are you okay?
My arm. I think it's broken.
Can you bend it?
It's already bent in the wrong direction.
I can't believe this. I'm so sorry. I only had a few drinks. I was just buzzed.
Really? Just buzzed?
Yeah, I swear.
Well, in that case, my arm is fine. Ah, that's better.
You're really okay? You're serious, Becky?
No, genius. I'm not serious.
Ow! My arm, it hurts.
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
Thinking of cooking? Think of your heart. I'm Mon, short for mono unsaturated fat.
And I'm polyunsaturated fat.
We're the Better Fat Sisters. We're heart helpers. Try the foods we're in.
Like fish, nuts, and vegetable oils.
Right on, sis. Eat less fatty meat, deep-fried foods, and pastries.
Those bad saturated and trans fats will break your heart.
Remember, we're better, but we're fats too.
We all have 9 calories per gram.
So go easy on the portions.
And spend more time with us.
The Better Fat Sisters. Be kinder to your heart. Learn more at AmericanHeart.org/FaceTheFats.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever. So take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is my campsite.
These are our hunting grounds.
These are the trees in my neighborhood.
I promise to protect these trees.
The emerald ash borer beetle kills trees. It lives in firewood.
I promise not to move firewood.
Never move firewood.
Will you promise me?
The emerald ash borer beetle lives in firewood. Moving just one piece can unleash destruction. Get the full story and promise you won't move firewood at stopthebeetle.info. A message from the USDA.
In the news, a small boy was rescued from abuse today by a magic trick. Witnesses say a bully had the boy pinned down.
Scott was hitting Jimmy pretty hard. And I said somebody should do something.
Moments later, a street magician arrived on the scene. Police reports state he covered the bully with his coat. What happened next is still under investigation.
The bully turned into a bunch of kittens.
The victim left the scene unharmed.
Boy, you never see that happen.
That's because it doesn't. If you see abuse or neglect, learn what you can do from American Humane at BeHumane.org.
I've had trouble with Angel trying to finish high school. It would be frustrating because during the day I would get a phone call saying he wasn't in class. He dropped out for a whole month. I really didn't have many people to look to but myself. Now I think that it's gotten a lot better. Now I at least have hope that he'll finish high school. He's still my son. You know, I can't give up.
Give your teen the boost they need to graduate. Call 1-877-4A-KID or join us at boostup.org for tips and advice. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
You have connections in the government, and there's no telling where they can take you. USA.gov, your official source for all government info. Who knows? Student loan and job hunting tips today could lead to retirement planning tomorrow. USA.gov.
The latest news from the nation and across the globe is just minutes away with ABC News, 89 WLS and WLSAM.com.
5:52. Jake Hartford here on the NATO Summit 2012 Chicago. Everyone's got a beef special. Jim Johnson will have some news at the top and bottom of the hour. Starting at 6 o'clock, you'll get your traffic and news all weekend long right here on 89 WLS. To Jim in Riverside. Jim, you're on 89 WLS.
Yes, good morning, Jake.
Morning.
I listen to you regularly on my morning walk. I've never called in before. And I just realized, well, as a whole, it's largely because the people that are up and calling this time of the day have a pretty good understanding of what goes on in this country.
Are you walking right now?
I'm walking right now.
How old are you, Jim?
Oh, I'm 70.
You know, it sounds like your heart is really working overboard there.
Well, anyway, the gentleman called in complaining about the rickets. Being a businessman myself, I would like to explain to him and Mr. Obama, another one who doesn't understand that the rickets have an investment in the Cubs. They would like a return on their investment. And the best way for them to get a return is to fill the stands up. The best way to fill the stands up is to get somebody in the White House that will not stop people from hiring people, but increase the hiring, and people can afford to buy tickets and go, and therefore the Ricketts get a return on the investment. Thanks for listening to me, and enjoy your program.
Who's going to increase that? Who's going to create the jobs, though, Jim?
I'm sorry?
Who's going to create the jobs?
There's many things that you can do to create jobs. Right now, people don't hire anybody because they have no clue what it's going to cost them a year or two down the road.
Well, yeah, there's a huge tax increase coming the 1st of January.
Absolutely. My business is cut exactly in it's been cut 67% just since this man got the nomination. So.
Yeah, you're not the only one. Thank you.
That will explain to him why the rickets would like to get him out of the office.
Yeah, slow down. You're walking too fast. I don't want you to have a heart attack there, Jim. Thank you. I mean, if the rickets made a bad investment in the Cubs and Wrigley needs to be repaired, well, that's on the rickets, really. I mean, the taxpayers shouldn't have to bail them out or help them do whatever they want to do. If they can take advantage of existing laws, okay, fine. Then I'm all for that. But then this other thing about, Mayor Emanuel got all upset based on what he heard that supposedly he was going to be in the Super PAC ad. I mean, take a breath. Stop and take a breath and see what actually is happening. Yeah, more important things to worry about. I'm worried about this stupid cheeseburger tax they want to put. This is out of Indiana. It's being proposed. A 20% cheeseburger tax. Actually, it's 20% on unhealthy foods. And some panel will decide what food is healthy and not. That's what I'm upset about. And they use the rationale. Well, we already tax cigarettes and alcohol, so this just fits right in. They gave an example of a $4 cheeseburger. A 20% tax would be how much? I'll do the math for you. 80 cents. On top of the regular sales tax. So if you have a 10% sales tax, you've got 40 cents for that and another 80 cents for the cheeseburger tax. It's $1.20 on a $4 cheeseburger. That's what you should be worried about. The inmates are running the asylum. And then what they're going to do, they want to subsidize the healthy food. They want to give you a subsidy on your carrots when you buy your carrots to make carrots more affordable. So if you see carrots for 59 cents a bunch now, you're not buying them because they're 59 cents. But if it's 30 cents a bunch, you're going to buy them, right? Is that what you're going to do? Tell me. 591-8900. And what always gets me, they always find some idiot in the crowd for this quote that makes the story. This woman said, quote, "I'd pay 20%. It's worth it. I would eat a lot more healthy just to save more money." You don't need to increase taxes on stuff just to eat healthy. Man, you talk about backwards thinking. I'd pay 20%. It's worth it. I would eat a lot more healthy just to save more money. See, I don't smoke cigarettes. I never had one cigarette in my life. So the higher cigarettes go, the more money I'm saving. Cigarettes get to $10 a pack, I'm a millionaire. According to that thinking. Anyway, this hour is gone. We have 2 more hours to go when Paul Bryan gets here with Drive Chicago. We will have Jim Johnson with the news, top and bottom of the hour. You're going to get your traffic. I'll run down a lot of the closures right after the top of this next hour. And we're going to start to test your knowledge of NATO. How well do you know NATO? As the people in Portugal would say, Bem bom. Jake Hartford back after news, weather, and traffic right here on 89 WLS.